In today's episode, I sit down with Thomas Turner, an Atlanta-based artist known for large-scale murals and a style that blends realism, nature, and surreal influence. What a lot of people don't see when they look at an artist's work is the business behind it. And Thomas breaks that wide open. We talk about what it actually takes to lay major walls, how pricing works, and why so many mural projects are months in the making, long before a paintbrush ever hits the wall. Thomas also shares the path that led him here. He grew up in Peachtree City, discovered art later than most, and eventually found his way through school, major shifts, and the few bold decisions that set him on his track. We get into some of the projects that changed everything for him, including the Atlantic Station mural that became a major breakthrough, and the moment he found out Hank Aaron had seen his work and was presented with a print of it. We also talk about where he is right now. Thomas is a brand new dad, and he's thinking differently about time, stability, and what it looks like to build a career that doesn't require being on a lift for 20 straight days. If you're a creative, a business owner, or somebody who's ever wondered what it really takes to turn talent into a living, I think you'll love this one. Let's get into it.
I think he also does have a lot of his own posts and things like that too. And he works closely with photographers and videographers to help like curate his stuff.
Yeah, this is kind of some of the questions I wanted to ask you, and we're rolling now, just so you know. But so yeah, just to kind of get like the business, but kind of sort of the business stuff behind it. Like what's I think people think about as an artist, just like you're out there like painting and doing murals and projects, but not thinking about like the business part behind it, you know. So that's kind of a lot of the questions I want to ask you too. But why don't we start off with? I was doing some prep. It's funny to say I was prepping for this because I've known you for so long,
right?
But I didn't realize that that you were born in California.
Yeah. I was born in California, but I only lived there till I was about 6-7 years old, and then moved to Peachtree City in Georgia. You know, it's about 45, 50 minutes south of Atlanta, and grew up there pretty much all the way through high school. And that's where, I grew up playing sports down there. Yeah. But I guess I've always had like a little bit of a West Coast vibe ingrained in me, but I'm pretty much just a Georgia boy from there on out.
Do you think that vibe was from your 6 years there, from like your parents that kind of?
I think it's from my parents, even though my parents are from the North, oddly enough. I don't know. I guess I just was, especially my mom, like introduced me to music at an early age. So I was listening to a bunch of different things growing up that wasn't just like kid stuff. Yeah. And maybe that helped shape my open-mindedness to new things and having different perspectives on stuff like that. But yeah, so California, but really grew up in Georgia. Yeah.
What kind of music? Like what different?
My first CD that my parents got me was Mighty Mighty Bosstones. Wow. Which is like ska music.
How old?
I think I was like 8 or 9. And I don't think that they knew what they got me. It wasn't like explicit or anything, except there was a secret track at the very, very, very end where they were just like dropping F-bombs and talking about crazy stuff. So I don't think they knew that track was on there. And then I was listening to that, and then, got into like punk music and Blink-182 and that. Did you
ask for that CD, or they?
No, that's what I'm saying. They randomly just were like, "Here's your first CD." I didn't know who they were or anything. So
that tracks. I think I was 4th grade when I got my first CD. It was Matchbox 20.
Oh my God.
Album. I was so proud of that.
That is
so
awesome.
Proud of that CD. And then it's finally like you have these different core memories. So I have, I'm talking about F-bombs and stuff. I had the Juvenile 400 Degrees CD. And at some point my mom heard it or grabbed it, and like we were like in the drive-through of McDonald's, and she took it out of my CD player and snapped it in half and like threw it out in the street. Yeah, man. Yeah,
I tried to keep my parents weren't like, I don't want to say they weren't paying attention, because they definitely, like, I was looked after.
Yeah.
But in terms of like music and video games, I don't think that they were paying too much attention to what I was doing. The video games, I was just playing like Super Nintendo, so nothing crazy. But the music,
but off the wall.
Because there was a CD music store near where I lived in Peachtree City that we could ride our bikes to, and our parents would just let us go in there by ourselves and get CDs. So, but I think that's fine. I think that's good. Let the kids
on your bike. No carts. I guess not at that age.
Well, because we were too young, in Peachtree City. I think at that time you had to be 15 to be able to drive by yourself. So mostly it was
on a bike.
Biking. Yeah. I guess for people that don't know who are listening, Peachtree City is like a golf cart mecca. There's like 60 miles worth of golf cart paths there that we could ride bikes, walk, run.
It's pretty cool,
golf
man.
Cart. Yeah.
I'll usually pull up when I'm describing to people. I'll Google Macintosh's golf cart parking lot for like all the students
at high school.
Yeah, at the high school, and pull up that picture.
Yeah, exactly.
And show them like this is kind of what I'm talking about. There's like carts everywhere.
You could drive them to the grocery store, through Chick-fil-A. Wherever cars could go, golf carts could go. Pretty much.
What'd your parents do growing up?
My dad was in sales and marketing in like air freight industry. And my mom was pretty much stay-at-home mom, but she did like PTO at school and stuff like that, and was on probably some random boards that I don't know about or something like that. But she was always like pretty active in getting us around to all of our activities and stuff like that. So, my dad's work was, I think that his work was something that was very boring to me, and that I think pushed me away from any sort of like office gig. But him being in sales and marketing, I think taught me a lot about like linguistics and talking and just being like a social person, which was beneficial to me too.
So neither parent had like artistic leanings necessarily.
No, I really don't know where this sort of influence came from, other than I can remember being probably like 4 years old, sneaking out of my room at night and going to play on my light bright. And that thing that you could plug in the pegs and make pictures with as a kid, and just always doodling and stuff like that through middle school and high school, but not really ever thinking of myself as an artist until I got probably into my senior year of high school. And a girlfriend at the time noticed that I was like doing that, and she actually got me a sketchbook. And that was the very first time I ever thought about creating anything for the sake of creating a piece of artwork, and that kind of evolved into many.
What were you sketching back then, like in high school? Was it similar to the work you're doing now, or just?
Actually, kind of on a low level scale. It was just straight out of my head, my imagination, and there was a lot of things connecting and growing from each other, which you still see in my work. And very organic feeling. Shapes was super, super weird, like eyeballs and portals and pipes. And
that's the Dali influence.
Sure, Well, and I do think actually Dali, as cliche as it is, maybe from the art realm to say, but he is actually like one of my major influences, and that happened when I was in senior year of high school. Coincidentally, I was in Spanish class, and our teacher was like this. We just got on a topic of learning about, Latin and Spanish artists, and I got Salvador Dali, and I'd never really heard of him before. And once I saw his work, and I started reading about him and just stuff that was going on in my life at that time. I just saw not similarities per se, but just like, I can use art as an outlet to kind of express emotions and feelings visually in a different way rather than just talking about them. And so that was sort of like the stepping off point for me and Dolly. And just living in that like surrealistic realm and mindset, which wouldn't develop until many years later. And I mean, I'm still developing. But,
How did so I guess I know that you're at App State first before going to SCAD, and I always kind of wondered why, but I'm guessing it's because art didn't really come to you until, like you said, senior year, right?
Exactly.
So it wasn't something that was top of mind. Is that why?
Yeah. So in high school, I wasn't really like into school that much. And it wasn't until my senior year where we were like, oh, we're going to go to college after this. And I was like, oh, okay. So I just applied to one school, Valdosta State, and got in there. And that's where a few of our friends were going. And then I took an art class down there, drawing class. And that was my first time. I mean, I like took art classes in high school, but, or maybe I didn't even do art in high school. Maybe it was middle school. Anyways, that was the first time in college where I took that drawing class and I was like, oh shit, I kind of got like a bit of a talent for this and I like it. And that's when I realized I could pursue that as a college route. Didn't want to be in Valdosta to stay down there just for various reasons. And started looking at just like cooler, more so just because I wanted to be in like a cooler atmosphere.
Like creative types.
And so I started looking at, I mean, I was looking all the way on West Coast, like, Portland and up in Seattle and then back in California areas and then Denver and things like that. And then took a trip up to App State up in North Carolina and just fell in love with the mountain vibes there and, little crunchy granola hippie vibes as well too. So that seemed like a good fit. And so I transferred there after 1 year of Valdosta State. Yep.
And then you were in it's Boone, right? Is that Boone?
Yep.
You were there how long?
I was there for 1.5 years, I would say. And then was doing, like, I loved it. Like, I loved my teachers and I was getting...
It was like a full-blown art program?
I was a painting major at that point. So I declared a painting major. But I got exposed to all different types of art, all the way to like performative art as well. And just really opened my mind to different styles and genres. And
did you do any of that, the performative art?
Yeah, I mean, I took a class with it, so it was like interesting. And then there was even a puppetry class, so I did make some puppets, just got exposed to all that. But then eventually, I don't know, I kept leaving to come visit you guys down at UGA, and one time I went down to Athens, and I was like, "Fuck it." I'm quitting school and I'm moving to Athens because I can do art anywhere. So that's what happened. I ended up quitting school after about 1.5 years at App State, and I moved to Athens and got a job at De Palma's downtown and just made art at my house and partied with you guys. So it was like an awesome college experience because I had the college like party scene without the classes, so it was great.
That's everybody's dream, right?
Yep.
Or do you remember, like, when you were at App State, was business ever a part of that discussion of like, okay, you're doing art, but you need to be thinking about this to be able to make a living off of it, or was it really just focused on
at that
art?
Point? It was very liberal, free thinking, like art for art. And, I still was so young at that point too. So maybe I was missing some of that, but I don't think that there were many, it wasn't getting pushed on us at all. It wasn't, it wasn't even getting presented, I would say. It was more about just finding your voice as an artist, if that's even what you still want to do. So no, I didn't get a lot of exposure to that at that point.
Did any of that develop in Athens?
Hell no.
No.
Hell no. Athens was was an awesome time period of my life where I was for the first time had some like skills that I had learned from being at App State and learning techniques with painting and drawing and things like that. And it was the first time being on the other side in the open free world without responsibility to just create. And so that was really cool. But I was so distracted by hanging out and having fun and partying and just, you know, going to concerts and just, you know.
So were you selling any art at that time? You were just creating
I probably sold maybe 5 pieces for a little bit of money here and there. I think I was more just... I was still very much searching for what was going to happen with all of this. And I ended up moving from Athens after like a year or so. And then I went back home for a second. Then I moved to Denver, Colorado, and tried to make some art out there with some not with buddies, but buddies who were out there. That's the other thing. I have no art friends. Like, I mean, now I do, but growing up, I had, I mean, I said it earlier, like I grew up playing sports. So none of my buddies were making art growing up. And it wasn't until going to App State, I got some friends from App State. But other than that, I didn't have a lot of art influence immediately around me. So I think that was a struggle for me too, to kind of like fall into that scene. And I just wasn't falling into it. I kept falling into more of like a party scene with people who were figuring out what type of business they were going to go into or what kind of career they were going to go into, where I knew I wasn't going to do that. And so that was about just, we talk about it a lot in business, and I'm very cognizant of it with like my kids and who I want to be around. But like, if you want to become something or be something, you should surround yourself with those people, right? So that's what Denver was for you. Yeah, exactly. I think Denver was like my last hurrah to move away somewhere again. Like I had moved to North Carolina, move away somewhere, try to expose myself to a creative outlet, but the people I was out there with just were not tapped into that community at all. And I went there during winter, so we were just like snowboarding all the time, and I wasn't doing a good job on my own. And that sort of led me to make a decision of like, yo, nothing's going on out here. I know I have this like desire and passion and talent. I need to pursue it in a more serious matter. And that's the way I thought I could do that, was to come back home and apply to SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design. And that's, thankfully I got accepted there, a little bit of a scholarship from the portfolio I'd built up over all those, I think it was like 3 years away from school. And that's when shit really started to...
Sounds like what, 23, 24, 25, somewhere in there?
What do you
SCAD,
mean?
like when you left Denver and went down to SCAD, how old were you?
Oh, how old was I? Yeah. Well, I started in 2010.
Okay.
So...
Yeah, it's like 22, 23.
Yeah. And then graduated. I declared a illustration major, which is like all the mediums: painting, watercolor, drawing, digital, everything. Got exposed to all of that and graduated in 2012 with a BFA in illustration.
At SCAD, was there more of a focus on the business side of things? Okay.
Yes. At SCAD, it was way more serious, which would be expected. I mean, it's a full-on art school. They have everything with like acting and fashion and sculpting, you know, all the different types of creative topics there. So there was some more business savvy outlets, but still there wasn't what you needed to like succeed as an artist. And I still think that's such a hard thing to hone in on for artists because everyone is so different. I think it's getting easier now with social media as a business platform for artists. So hopefully now that is integrated into their curriculum, because I think that's like the easiest way for artists to develop their businesses through social media these days. And get the exposure. But it's in terms of like, you know, scheduling and running numbers and business insurance and all that type of, no one talked to me about that. No one talked to me about how to be an entrepreneur, which is essentially what I have become. Setting up an LLC and all that type of stuff. Navigating different clients and contracts and making sure you're secure and safe and protecting your artwork and licensing and all that type of stuff.
Right.
I wasn't in those classes, or I'm not sure if they were available. So yeah.
Where did that come in? Was it from working with other artists in Atlanta and just kind of hearing you need to do this or I need to do that, or what?
Yeah, I mean, we're really going through my full story, which is good. I think it's evolving nicely. The after school is after I graduated from SCAD. That's when I still hadn't found my voice yet, or like how I wanted to create artwork. And I ended up getting an internship with ABV.
Okay.
Stands for A Better View. Their agency and a gallery here in Atlanta. And Greg Mike is the founder there. That's when I got exposed to real life situations with artists running their own businesses, traveling the world. That was my first true
like seeing what
door
was possible,
opening experience that I immersed myself in as fast as I could. I mean, it was a 3-month internship. It went really well, but there wasn't really a position for me after that, just because they were a pretty small agency, and I didn't have any like necessarily skills other than creating artwork to come on board to run any sort of like department that they had. So, but I just wanted to stay around. So I just kept showing back up, and I was involving myself in some festival that they had created. It's the Outer Space Project, which is a mural festival here in Atlanta. And so I got exposure on how to interact with business owners and collect walls, and how that sort of relationship works between artists and, you know, whether it's a developer or a property owner or a shop owner. Got to meet a lot of different people with different sort of like statuses through that. And, you know, being so close to Greg and seeing how he ran his company is priceless, to be able to be that close to someone who's, you know, now ABV is a pretty large Atlanta agency, not just Atlanta. I mean, they work worldwide. So having that, I could have never learned at school. That was all just about, you know, real life, putting myself in situations and having people who were open enough to let me hang around and not kick me out. So that was ABV was like my opening to business.
Right. Okay.
And you know, just being an open door for me to ask questions about stuff too.
Yeah. You know, actually, Melissa asked me the other day, because we were driving past that mural in Buckhead at the one that you let Nico paint.
On the
side of the eye center
with the buck.
That's right.
Yeah.
And she was like, "How does he like get these walls, or how do they let him paint these walls? Like, what? How does that all work? Right? So, how does it work?"
It's well, yeah. I mean, it's a pretty unique field to be in. Just focusing on the murals side. It can happen where someone knows me and they already have the wall and they want me to come paint it, or someone could be driving down the road and see another one of my murals and see my name on there, and then they get in contact with me and start going through the talks, or it could even be there's like RFQs or RFPs where they put out essentially an all call to artists, and artists apply and go through a process that way. Or it could be me just, seeing a wall, staring at it and being like, I need that wall. Let me find out, who owns the building. That's the part, is like figuring out who's the right person to talk to.
Yeah.
Because it could be like a mom and pop shop and they really want the mural, but they don't have control over the building. So you have to go to the next level up and, keep finding who the right person to talk to is. Yeah. And that can be a bit of a process, but there's lots of different ways that I get those.
Who pays for it typically?
Same thing. It's like if using the mom and pop situation, like if they want the mural, they just need permission from the landlord.
Gotcha. Okay.
The mom and pop shop is going to pay for it. It could be a situation where it's the landlord or the developer who wants a mural on the side of the property, and the mom and pop don't really have a say, because the landlord's the one like, no, we want this to bring eyes to the property, to promote the property, and kind of like, show that we care for this neighborhood and things like that. Yeah. So different avenues. Yeah.
What would I ask you? Just lost it.
But it could also be city too. Like city pays for murals sometimes as well. If it's on a government building or even like a park,
Just came back to me was you said one of your avenues was you see a wall and you're like, I gotta have it.
Yeah.
what like you have a specific example
of one that like, so most of the walls that have been like that, I have gotten them as a part of the Outer Space Project, which is that festival that I mentioned earlier, because that was the best opportunity for property to get a mural for a very reasonable financial investment, because we're essentially like, donate your wall. We'll choose an artist for the wall. So you'll get a mural on there, and basically you're getting the wall for not anywhere near what it would cost to have the artist come out and do it. So that's like the easiest
it's subsidized by the festival, or
and then normally like the property owner will donate money to cover supplies and the lift costs and maybe some artist fee, but it's a percentage of what it would actually cost. So that's been the way that I got one of my favorite walls in Atlanta, which is right off of Edgewood, right on the Beltline. And I painted it last year. That's how I got that wall. And I also knew
the Pelican one, or is it
the Blue Heron? Yeah, Blue Heron. Yeah, the Great Blue Heron. Yeah, and I knew the friends with the developers of that property too, so that helped out a little bit.
Yeah, probably your most famous, or at least one that I always bring up when I talk to people, is the Falcon over Atlantic Station. It's just so visible, and
that one's huge.
It's huge. Yeah. So I was talking to some of the guys about it earlier, and they started asking me a bunch of questions. I was like, I'll ask. So that, like, can you just walk through like the logistics of about like how did that one even come together?
That one came through ABV.
Okay.
So like I said, ABV is also an agency, and they had Atlantic Station, the entity, come to them to curate the wall and help them find an artist for the wall. So ABV presented them a few different artists and landed on me through a process somehow. And then at that point, then I'd go through the whole creative journey where I'm coming up with sketches and final designs, and there's some back and forth with them and me. And I like it to be a bit of a collaboration between me and whoever I'm painting a mural with. And then after that, it was figuring out what type of lifts we needed. We ended up using a couple 125-foot boom lifts and they had a shipping container on site that I was able to store all of my paint and supplies in, which was nice. Then at that point, it's just like execution. I had one assistant for that mural. Depending on the size and the scale of the wall, I'll bring on an assistant for the work. And I have a great assistant now who is a professional artist in his own right. I'm just lucky enough that he takes time away to come help me out. His name's Nick Turbo Benson. He's awesome just to hang out with. So, he's become a good friend. So that also is important too. If I'm working with someone, I want to have a homie out there. But yeah, that one took about 20 days straight through.
How long before, how long was that RFP process and then going through sketching and all that stuff?
I would say it was probably half a year in the making. Cause when the ABV even told me that they were throwing me in the mix, I think it was 4 months or so before I even heard it. I'd completely forgot all about it. And all of a sudden they were like, yo, you're the artist. And I was like, holy shit, that's still a thing? Okay, great. So that's the other part of this business is these things can take a long time to come to fruition. Because there's so many cooks in the kitchen sometimes, or it's red tape to get through, or the funding has to develop, and so it's a hustle, man. I gotta stay on top of people. I have to reach out and follow up a lot, and also just promote myself. That's been a big thing. Early on, I was more hesitant to be talking about myself and showing my work and things like that. But now I don't give a shit. I'll promote myself all day.
Well, you got quite a body.
Yeah. Now I have a portfolio for sure. So it's easier to show people.
Yeah. What's a wall like that cost?
It was a percentage of what it would cost now. I'm in the $25 to $50 a square foot range.
Square foot,
and that wall is about 8,000 square feet. So today's pricing, I don't know what that equates to. Yeah.
It's gone up so much because of just cost of materials, or just
materials, and there's just my level of knowledge and attention to detail and what I bring to the table, and also just self-worth. I think I'd like to think I'm aging like a wine. And also, as I'm getting older, I'm considering, my family. I'm a brand new dad. I had a kid 3 weeks ago now. So I got to consider that too. With the murals, especially the big ones, I love the bigger the better, but it also takes me away from my family, not just the actual installation time, but going back to sort of the beforehand process. Aside from the waiting around, once we actually come to terms and we're good to go, that process can be a month long of me designing in my studio, and doing research and things like that. So, a mural like the Atlantic Station one, which is one of the biggest ones I've done, that probably from start to finish of actual work and time was probably a 3-month sort of chunk.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit less. So that is also a part that maybe people don't think about with murals. It's not just me showing up and the time painting. There's so much planning and logistics that go into it on the front end. Design obviously is a big chunk of the front end too. So
did you learn that the hard way as far as pricing that in?
Well, yeah, dude. I mean, I was cheating myself. But in the beginning, that's how I learned. I think now going back to social media, there's so much information out there for people who might not have to, who can skip all those steps of fumbling along the way and can kind of just start out the gate, high and mighty, which is great. But that wasn't me. I did go through the hurdles. And I'm still like, there's still people out there, like clients who have never worked with a mural artist, never had a mural, so they don't understand the process, and I have to walk them through it, which I'm happy to do. But there's still times where I do walk them through the process and they're just like, oh, we didn't know it was going to be that much money. And it just doesn't work out. So
how soon do you start having those conversations, or making sure that like you're not wasting each other's time, or making sure they're on the same page?
Pretty much out the gate now. And that was another thing of like learning from experience, where we would go too far down the road and not be transparent about things in the beginning. So I really try to get my pricing set. That's something that I've actually worked on the past couple of years, is actually developing a price guide for myself that I can just present to someone and be clear and transparent of, this is how I price per square foot. Here are like extracurricular costs that are involved with that, not included in the artist fee, such as like lift costs, travel costs, storage costs for my supplies, things like that. If you want me to seal the wall with a clear coat, that's an extra cost. So I have it kind of all laid out for people, just to be more transparent and less mysterious, because I feel like in the art world, pricing is mysterious. And it's still like, even with that guide, how I came up with those numbers, I mean, based on other people, I guess, and what I need, you know, to survive and stuff like that. But, you know, who's to say? You know, it's kind of, a piece of work can be worth $10 or it can be $10 million. It just depends on so many factors. And the murals is a little more tangible because it's kind of like, it's public art, but it's fine art. At least that's how I look at it. So to be able to create that price guide for murals, it helps developers and clients understand where the pricing is coming from. Whereas a piece in the gallery, it's kind of it's more subjective.
Way more abstract. That project, the one with the buckhead one, I think it started raining in the middle of that. And I remember you were like, you were telling me, like, I got to get this done. It's going to start raining. And so I've been meaning to ask you, like, I'm guessing if it rains and you've got the booms for extra days, right? That costs you more money. Do you have like clauses in your contract to adjust if something like that happens? Like it rains for 4 days straight, right? And like just blew the budget, or is it just flat fee? And
yeah, there's not a clause, but I do account for weather delay when I'm projecting cost to the client, or even like the amount of time it's going to take. So if I'll give a client a range of like, 10 to 14 days. The lift is going to be running for 2 weeks anyways. And I have a good relationship with the lift company that I work with, that they help me out if I need to push it a little bit longer. But yeah, all that's on my end. It's all included in my pricing. Like I take care of all of the costs and logistics, unless the client insists on doing it, because maybe they have a relationship with the lift company and it's easier for them to handle it or whatever. But more often than not, I'm handling all of that. It's all built in.
Cool. What's been the breakdown of like local versus going out and doing projects elsewhere? Like
probably 70% of my murals are local compared to leaving the state, which I'm fine with. I mean, I love my city and I love my community, but it just would be fun to be out there traveling more and getting to spread the love around. So, but I have been out there.
Are those opportunities through ABV typically as well too? Like when they're out of state or out of the country, or is it?
No, those have been either like other mural festivals put on, or just like, clients that came straight to me.
Okay. Yeah. When I kind of glossed over this when we were getting into like the murals, but like how did you develop your style, right? And realize that this is going to work on big, because I don't know, on a sheet of paper is much different than like a big wall, right? Like, how did that come to be?
I was experimenting a lot in college, and like I said, I didn't really find my style there. And I think it was I was trying to do this like more graphic, two-dimensional work that was not very good at all. And I think it was just being going to shows, especially at ABV, and seeing the work that was coming through their gallery, and kind of made me want to level up my game. And fortunately, I was able to meet who's like my guru, James Ballou, who is out of Berlin, Germany. He's from Baltimore, but he's lived in Berlin for many, many years with his wife and kids now. And he sort of took me under his wing to learn from him. That's how I learned how to spray paint and really go big. Because I assisted him. I started assisting him on murals, and that's how I got the first-hand experience. You know, ABV opened the door, but then James was like my teacher, my sensei.
Yeah. What's his style?
So he paints figures, like human figures. Very realistically, mostly women, mostly dancers who are like in interesting positions and poses. And I knew if I could learn from him, I could translate his technique and bring it into the world that I paint of animals and nature, and being able to use brushes and spray paint. So that's what drew me to him. And then he's just like a badass guy who now we're really, really, really good friends. We've stayed connected. That was probably like 2017 or so when we really got connected. I think that's probably about then. And I've traveled around the world painting his murals with him since then. And that's what really showed me how I could paint the way I wanted to paint big. But I don't know if that answers the question on how I really...
Are most murals like a mix of spray paint and
For me, they paint? Are. Yeah. For me, I used to do all brush paint, then I went to all spray paint, and now it's like a 50-50, could be 70-30, 60-40, but I'm doing both on every mural now, and it's for different reasons. It could be the scale of the wall, the background, the colors, and things like that is why I choose one over the other.
So that's what I was going to ask. Was it time, technique, or...
It comes down to like color and like coverability. Like if I want to do a gradient background, but the wall is, 60 feet by 40 feet, I'm going to use a paint sprayer with bucket paint. That's what I call like house paint. If it's, rendering things like the eye of an eagle, I'm going to use spray paint to get all the details and feathers and stuff like that on there. But it also depends on the scale. If it's too small, then I'll use brushes. If it's big enough, then I'll use cans. So those are the two big factors.
It's pretty cool. I've gone out to, when you're doing a few of them live, to see how many just cans of spray paint are out there. I mean, what on a typical project, like how many cans of spray paint would you say you're going through? I don't actually burn through as many as people might think, unless I'm doing like big fills. So like a solid color, like I need to get a solid base coat, and I'm not using brush paint for that. Then I'll burn through cans just to get that solid color on the wall. But when I'm actually doing the rendering part, like all the details, it looks like I have so many cans, and I do, but they're all different colors, and I'm just using a bit of each one of those colors in a sort of a limited amount of time throughout the project. So, I do bring way more than I normally end up using. I have a pretty good stockpile of paint at my studio, and then I always end up buying more than I need. I always buy more than I need. It's kind of annoying because I'm spending more money than I need to, but I love having all my options in front of me and not having to be like, oh shit, I probably could use that color, but then I have to leave the wall to go to the store or back to my studio to get it. Because I hate leaving the wall. That's like the worst thing, leaving the wall. Do you, like when you're sketching out your design, are you doing color and the sketch too, like before you go to the wall?
Oh yeah. Okay. That part of my process is more of like a pencil, looks like a pencil drawing, traditional sketch.
Yep.
And then once everyone likes that, then I move into final design phase where I'm coloring it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Makes it look like what it's going to look like.
So then sometimes, what made me think of this question when you're saying like, you're trying to figure out what color to use. Maybe then you get there, you're like, I wanted something different or a different shade or.
Yeah, I'll definitely switch it up on the fly here and there. Mostly it's going to stay like pretty tried and true to the final design. But I might, once I'm putting together the color palette, like if I'm with cans or with brush paint, I can see the colors in real life, not on a screen.
Yeah.
And I know that I need to shift it a little bit this way or shift it a little bit that way. Or like I had a spot of color over here that I thought was going to work, but it actually would look better if it was, instead of orange, maybe it needs to be red,
right.
you know? So I'll shift things like that on the fly.
Do you remember your first big break?
I think Atlantic Station, the one that we talked about earlier, was probably my biggest break, because probably just for me, not even like career-wise break, just mentally, it was my biggest breakthrough. It gave me the confidence that I can do this and I can run a full mural project start to finish on my own. I mean, I had ABV was running like behind the scenes between me and the client, but I was handling all the logistics of it and getting it done, obviously. So that really gave me the confidence to be like, oh yeah, I can do anything now.
Yeah, I'm sure after that.
Yeah.
Because before that, what had you done before the Atlantic Station one?
I'm trying to think. I hadn't done a huge mural before then. I can't remember. I did do a mural for the Atlanta Braves. That was a pretty big deal to me because I am a huge Atlanta Braves fan.
The Hank Aaron?
It was the Hank Aaron mural, and it was while he was still alive.
Yeah.
And it was to commemorate the year, I think it was 42 years after he had beat Babe Ruth's home run record. And so it was to commemorate that. And that was a huge deal to me. And that might have made me feel like I had made it.
Yeah. Did he come out to the wall?
I don't think he ever came out to the wall, but I know he knew about the wall. The Braves showed him a picture of the wall, and they actually presented him with a print of the wall. And they sent me photos of him with it, and he was smiling, and they seemed like he was super stoked about it. So
cool thing,
that's probably one of the coolest moments, just being able to have like a baseball legend know that I exist, at least for like a moment.
And then you done some stuff with Atlanta United too. Did that kind of dovetail off of each other, or?
I don't know if maybe it was just me like putting my sports vibes out there, and like, you know, I want to be involved in the Atlanta sports scene. You know, ABV is obviously very tied into to that as well. That lended. I'm not really sure how that whole opportunity started and that relationship started, but I've done a couple Phoenixes.
For United.
Cool.
When do you remember when you decided like, okay, this is legit and I need to do an LLC or like, you know, put a business like plan together actually, and not just doing the creative part?
It was for the Atlantic Station wall, because it was such a monumental moment in my life where I was like, okay, I'm going to do this now full time. I'm going to dive in, and just started doing some research and found out it's not very hard to create an LLC at all. And it's not hard to get business insurance. And that's sort of where it started me thinking more about protecting myself in the business end of my career. So, and it's continuing to evolve to this day. But I feel pretty good about it. I think the biggest thing now would be I would like to maybe grow to a point where I had at least one or two people on a team with me that were handling the administrative side of things, which I have tried out before. I just don't think that I grew enough yet to make it worthwhile for either party. And
what are those admin things like for you?
I mean, like sending out emails, going out and being more proactive, like putting my name out there and trying to get work for me, putting together print campaigns, developing a shop online for me, you know, handling inventory, pushing me to create inventory because I don't have any right now, you know, like doing t-shirts and just more stuff that people could grab onto that isn't just really expensive paintings or commissioning me to do a very expensive mural, like stuff that people could collect at a lower price point. That's what I really want to focus on. I really want to focus on that now. Going back to me having the family, like that's how I'm gonna stay alive and do this. You know, I can't paint murals forever. It's so labor and intensive and physical, and it takes you away from things. I want to be able to do like 2-3 really big, cool murals a year, and then focus on gallery work and create more paintings for galleries, and then also have like more passive income through merchandise and things like that, and doing print releases. But it gets a little over my head with, you know, I have to bring on a videographer or a photographer to photograph everything. Then develop a campaign to release that item and kind of build hype, you know, and then handle the inventory, the packaging, the shipping, all that stuff, which I've done and I do, but I hate doing that part of it. And I know there's even like self-automated, you know, systems out there that could probably be doing that for me. But I always want to maintain quality and like have my hand on it, you know, like I don't want to just have like shirts being shipped from, you know, Korea that I never see or get to touch personally and know that it's good quality, you know. So I always want to have a hand in what's going out there. So that's the other part of like me realizing I probably need to let go a little bit and trust other people to come in. Even with email, like I was having some correspondence done for me, but I like being so involved and hearing every step of the way with what's going on in the correspondence that I was like, nah, let me just jump back in.
It's a common business owner pitfall. You know, of like trying to figure out when and where to delegate and put other people in place to help you, right?
It's hard to let go.
Not easy. You know, having children is one of the ways that's kind of like is a funny way of refocusing your energy, right, into the places that you need to be moving that energy towards, or places that you want to grow, because it's, you know, there's somebody else now. So I'm excited for you with that.
It's already changed my mindset a bit for sure.
Would you say because of that, like the towards what you just described, or in other ways as well?
More of just like being more present at home and with my family and thinking about them more and wanting to find ways to be available. Or even though it's only been 3 weeks, but I can already see, like, I just know how my years go from year to year with how murals can take me away and things like that. And just want to get set up more financially secure for, you know, the little guy and my wife, and for me, just feeling like it's more set up and not so up and down and wavy like this. You know, this business is pretty volatile.
I was going to ask, is there like the economy affecting the volatility?
Absolutely. And it's weird. Like in some markets, it could be crashing, but then the art market is booming, and then the opposite. So it's hard to tell when that's going to happen. Obviously, I think right now there's kind of like an overall blanket of uncertainty and a little more conservative spending happening right now. But that's why I really want to tap into this like more passive income with the merchandise and put my brand out there a little bit more, and to say like I want to reach farther and become more of I mean, a household name is probably a bit far of a reach right now,
dream,
but you know, eventually, you know, I want to kind of be out there and but you know, I want to create work that's meaningful still too, and fun.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you ever get into like the NFT craze? Did you make
I didn't create any, but I was like full head on into it.
Drew telling me he was trying to get you to
I got Drew in there.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't let him tell you otherwise. No, there was a little crew of us who were definitely an NFT. Greg created some NFTs and he did really, really well with them. He did super well with them. Kind of got him to another, I think, tier in life, essentially. But no, I mean, I was in it. I still think it's pretty cool. I think it's still really new and young, and I think it could come back and have a resurgence. I'm not sure what the factors are that kind of shifted it, the craze, but for a while there, it was insane. Like people were spending millions. And it's a really cool technology, like having that blockchain, like having your artwork kind of certified through the network, and it can't, you know, it has that signature on it forever. So I do like that aspect of it being like certified artwork via an NFT. You know, I think that's really cool. And it also, you know, how you can incorporate animation into it as well, which kind of just opens up this whole other avenue for
especially for the
artists
stuff
like
that you
me.
do. Yeah.
Because I'm not an animator. I do create digital artwork, but not like some other badass people out there by any means. Like I would never even consider myself in their league. So it did open up, or it does open up sort of this avenue that wasn't available to me as more of like a traditional artist, which is cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
We're coming up on the end of 2025. What's your biggest goal for next year?
Man, biggest goal, keep this kid alive. I mean, we just talked about it. Like, I'm serious. Like I've been saying it for a long time, but I really, really need to work on like the shop part of Thomas Turner. Like I want to be more accessible to people on a daily basis. To be able to have things that people can collect.
Where do you go to for help with that? Is it like through ABV, or is it other artists, or
it's just other artists, just other artists. You know, I think I know what I need to do. I just need to do it. Type of thing. You know, I have the website set up. I have the shop set up. I think the main thing is going to be me creating the work. That's what I need to do. And that's what I haven't put aside time to do, because I let the murals take over and the hustle for, you know, the next job like that to come through. Need to be able to like refocus my mind. And that's kind of what having the kid is starting to do. I'm still in that like I don't sleep phase, but you know, I know once I can like get my feet back under me, that's what I want to focus on, is creating more work to put out there that isn't just for murals.
Well, cool, man. Well, thanks for coming in today. It was a bit of a drive for you up here, OTP. But I really, really appreciate it, man. Where can people find you?
Website, ThomasTurnerArt.com, Instagram, TT_Thomas Turner.
Cool. All right, brother. Thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks,
I appreciate
Les.
it.